Jack always believed that if he ever killed someone, he'd feel it in his bones first, a dark premonition, a warning from the universe. But on this night, as the sound of Lisa's laughter filled the house from a phone call she quickly ended, he only felt cold suspicion. His wife was cheating on him. He didn't have proof yet, but deep in his gut, he knew. It had started subtly. The late nights at work, the sudden bursts of laughter at texts she refused to share, the scent of cologne that wasn't his. At first, Jack convinced himself he was being paranoid, but paranoia didn't explain why Lisa had stopped meeting his eyes at the dinner table, or why she turned away when he reached for her at night. Lisa had an answer for everything. Work was demanding, deadlines were tight, promotions were on the line. Jack wanted to believe her. He really did. But belief withered when trust was poisoned. He started watching, counting the hours she was gone, checking the car mileage, looking for any clue that would turn his creeping doubt into solid proof. And tonight, as Lisa came home past midnight, looking flustered and apologizing without meeting his gaze, Jack felt the first spark of something dangerous ignite inside him. He smiled at her, kissed her forehead like a good husband should, and all the while, his mind screamed with one relentless thought: I will find out, and when I do, there will be consequences. Jack had been waiting for the right moment, and tonight, fate handed it to him. Lisa had fallen asleep on the couch, exhaustion weighing down her limbs. Her phone lay unguarded on the coffee table, the screen occasionally flickering with unread messages. Jack's pulse pounded in his ears as he stared at it. This was the moment, the answer to months of doubt, of restless nights spent wondering if he was losing his mind. He reached for the device, his fingers trembling. He knew her passcode, of course he did. The screen unlocked, revealing a series of notifications. His stomach clenched as he clicked into her messages. His eyes darted across the screen, absorbing the words that would seal her fate. I can't wait to see you again. Tonight was amazing. I wish I could be in your arms forever. Jack swallowed back the bile rising in his throat. The betrayal bled from every word. His hands shook as he scrolled further, each message a dagger to his heart. Then, he saw something that made his breath hitch. A hotel address. A timestamp. 2 nights ago. His vision blurred as rage and heartbreak intertwined. A deadly concoction brewing inside him. He clenched the phone so tightly his knuckles turned white. He forced himself to keep reading, even as his soul crumbled under the weight of the truth. Then came the final blow. The name attached to the messages. Mark, his best friend. Jack let out a ragged breath, a laugh of pure disbelief escaping his lips. The man he had trusted with everything, the man who had toasted to his happiness at their wedding, was the one sleeping with his wife. The room suddenly felt suffocating. The walls seemed to close in. His heart pounded so violently that he thought it might break free from his chest. He turned his gaze toward Lisa, who was still sound asleep, oblivious to the storm brewing within him. A storm that had only one possible outcome. Jack set the phone down, his mind now eerily calm. His eyes landed on the torpedo bat leaning against the wall, a relic from his baseball days. His fingers curled into fists as he inhaled deeply, feeling a strange sense of clarity wash over him. This was no longer about heartbreak. This was about justice. Jack sat in the dark, the weight of betrayal pressing down on him like an iron fist. His mind replayed the memories of his friendship with Mark, how they met in college, how they had stood by each other through the toughest of times. Mark had been his best man, his brother in everything but blood, and now he was the man sleeping with Lisa. Jack clenched his fists, his breath shallow as flashes of their past moments together flooded his brain. The poker nights, the beers after baseball practice, the endless advice about marriage and trust. It had all been a lie. His eyes darted back to Lisa, who stirred slightly on the couch, still unaware of the ticking time bomb, sitting just feet away. Jack had loved her. He had built his world around her. But now, she was nothing more than a stranger draped in deception. His grip tightened around the torpedo bat. The room felt smaller, the air heavier. Every beat of his heart whispered one word: punishment. Lisa's phone buzzed on the coffee table, making Jack flinch. The bright screen cut through the darkness. His gaze flickered toward it, and he saw another message appear. "I miss you already. Can't wait to see you tomorrow." The name under the message wasn't Mark. Jack's breath caught in his throat. His fingers twitched as he snatched the phone again, his eyes darting back through the conversation thread. His stomach turned as realization slammed into him like a freight train. Mark hadn't been Lisa's lover. He had been trying to warn him. The real name surfaced in the messages, one Jack hadn't seen before because his rage had blinded him. A name belonging to someone else, someone he didn't even know. Jack's pulse quickened as a wave of nausea overtook him. His mind reeled. The torpedo bat felt foreign in his hands now, as if it had been passed to him by the devil himself. Lisa shifted, her eyes fluttering open. She saw Jack in the dim light, saw the expression on his face, one of confusion, horror, and something far worse. "Jack," her voice was groggy, unaware of how close she had come to death. "What's wrong?" Jack couldn't speak. The weight of his mistake was suffocating. He had been seconds away from becoming a murderer. Jack's grip on the bat tightened, his mind a battlefield of rage and doubt. The truth had twisted beneath his fingers, revealing a betrayal he never saw coming. Not from Mark, but from someone unknown. Lisa blinked up at him, confusion turning to fear as she saw the murder in his eyes. "Jack, what are you doing?" For a split second, he still wanted to swing, to punish her, to make her pay for the trust she shattered. His knuckles whitened, veins bulging as he raised the bat. Then he stopped. His breath hitched, his body trembled. He saw his reflection in the dark TV screen, a man transformed into something monstrous. If he did this, there was no coming back. Lisa gasped, scrambling off the couch, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Jack, please listen to me." Jack's chest heaved. He looked at her, truly looked at her, and the fury cracked like shattered glass. The torpedo bat slipped from his grasp, hitting the floor with a dull thud. He staggered back, hands shaking. He had almost lost himself, almost become something irredeemable. Lisa sobbed, stepping toward him, but Jack turned away, walking into the darkness, leaving behind the wreckage of their marriage. The storm hadn't passed. It had only begun. The air in the house felt different, thick, heavy, and suffocating. Jack stood in the center of the living room, his chest rising and falling in rapid, shallow breaths. His hands were slick with sweat, his grip still tight around the torpedo bat. He looked down at Lisa's lifeless body on the floor, the once vibrant woman he had loved now still, her face frozen in a final expression of fear and confusion. The house was silent, save for the pounding of his heart in his ears. He couldn't look away from her. He had done this. It had been him, swinging the bat in blind rage, fueled by betrayal, by heartbreak. His vision swam with disbelief. Was this really happening? Had he really crossed that line? Had he really taken a life? The disbelief twisted in his gut, sending a wave of nausea rolling over him. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. This wasn't supposed to be real. The anger had made sense in the moment. Hell, the anger had consumed him. But now, all he could feel was emptiness. Lisa was gone, and Jack, standing over her, couldn't even remember how it had happened. The moments were a blur, flashes of violence that didn't make sense. The bat had hit her. He knew that, but the details, the hows and whys were hazy. He could still hear the crack, the sickening sound of bone meeting wood, but the memory of it felt distant, like it had happened to someone else. His mind flickered back to the messages, the ones that had condemned her in his eyes, the ones that had convinced him, without a doubt, that Lisa was the one who had betrayed him, that she had slept with Mark, his best friend. The weight of the discovery had been unbearable, and the pain of realizing that the man he had trusted, the one who had stood by him through everything, had been part of the betrayal, had been the breaking point. But now, standing in the darkened room, there was no sense of satisfaction, no justice, no peace, only the slow realization that everything he had thought was true had been based on lies, lies he had chosen to believe. Jack's body trembled as he staggered backward, his legs weak and unsteady. He dropped the bat, its dull thud against the floor a cruel reminder of the violence he had just unleashed. His eyes flicked around the room, his breath ragged. He couldn't stay here. Not with her. not with what he had done. He stumbled toward the door, his mind in a frenzy. The truth, the ugly, unrelenting truth, was beginning to seep in. He had acted on anger, on a lie, on a gut feeling that had been wrong. There was no justice in what he had done. There was only destruction. His phone buzzed in his pocket, pulling him from his spiraling thoughts. He fumbled with it, barely able to focus as he swiped to open the message. It was from Mark. The message was short, but the words hit Jack like a punch to the gut. "We need to talk. It's about Lisa." A cold shiver ran down Jack's spine. The anger, the doubt, the confusion that had led him to this moment suddenly shifted to a deep, gnawing fear. He felt the bile rise in his throat, his vision swimming as he read the message again. "It's about Lisa." Jack's heart slammed against his chest as the truth began to unravel in his mind. Mark had been trying to reach him. Mark had been trying to warn him, but it was too late now. Lisa was dead. The weight of the message settled over him like a dark cloud, suffocating him, and Jack's hand shook as he held the phone. He had been so sure, so damn sure that Lisa had betrayed him with Mark. But now he didn't know what to think. The truth was slipping through his fingers like sand, and the horror of what he had done was beginning to sink in. His mind raced back to the messages, the ones that had fueled his rage. Lisa's words had been clear, but had they been enough? Had he misinterpreted them? Had Mark been telling the truth when he said it wasn't what Jack thought? He could feel his stomach twist in knots, his pulse pounding in his ears. What if Mark had been right? What if Lisa wasn't cheating on him with his best friend? What if the betrayal had been something worse? Something he had never imagined? Jack's fingers trembled as he gripped his phone, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Mark's message burned into his mind like a brand. "We need to talk. It's about Lisa." His world tilted. His legs felt weak beneath him as he stared at Lisa's motionless body sprawled on the floor. The torpedo bat, the murder weapon, lay just a few feet away, smeared with blood. Jack's heartbeat thundered in his chest. He had been so sure, so absolutely certain. But now, a cold tendril of doubt wrapped itself around his throat and squeezed. What had Mark meant? Jack hesitated for only a second before his fingers tapped furiously on the screen. He called Mark. The line rang once, twice. "Jack." Mark's voice was urgent, breathless. "Thank God. I've been trying to reach you." "What do you mean?" Jack cut him off, his voice sharp, desperate. "What do you mean? It's about Lisa." Mark paused, and for a moment, all Jack could hear was his own breath, the ticking of the clock on the wall, the deafening silence of a dead house. "Jack, Lisa wasn't cheating on you." The words hit like a sledgehammer to his chest. He staggered back, his hand gripping the edge of the couch for support. No, I saw the messages. I read them. Don't lie to me, Mark." "I'm not lying." Mark's voice was tense, urgent. "She wasn't cheating. She was trying to protect you." Jack's mouth went dry. His pulse pounded in his ears. "Protect me? From what?" A long pause. Then, from the man she was seeing. The floor beneath Jack felt like it had vanished. He gripped his phone tighter. His mind raced through every possible scenario, every painful realization clawing its way to the surface. "What?" His voice was barely a whisper. "She wasn't in love with him, Jack. She was afraid of him." Jack's stomach turned. His mind reeled back to the texts, the messages filled with longing and secrecy. "I wish I could be in your arms forever. Tonight was amazing." But what if he had read them wrong? What if she had written those words willingly? She was planning to leave him. Mark continued. "She was trying to get away, but she didn't know how. I told her to talk to you, but she was scared. He was dangerous, Jack. She told me he threatened her." Jack's breath came in short gasps. The truth was slipping through his fingers, unraveling in front of him like a cruel joke. The man Lisa had been seeing wasn't someone she loved. It was someone she feared. And Jack, blinded by rage, drowning in his own assumptions, had killed the wrong person. His knees buckled. He dropped the phone, his body collapsing onto the floor beside Lisa. The weight of his crime pressed down on him like a crushing wave, threatening to drown him in the depths of his own guilt. He had been her husband. He was supposed to protect her, And instead, he had become her executioner. Jack's hands hovered over Lisa's lifeless body, his fingers barely touching her cheek. It was still warm. He had stolen time from her. Precious, irreplaceable time. A sob tore through his throat. The buzzing of his phone snapped him back to reality. Mark was still on the line, his voice frantic. Jack, are you there? Listen to me. If he finds out Lisa was leaving, if he finds out she's dead, you're in danger. He won't just let this go. Jack barely heard him. His mind was a storm of grief, rage, and bone-deep regret. Then a sound outside. Footsteps. A shadow moved past the window. Jack's head snapped up, his body going rigid. He wasn't alone, and whoever was outside, they were coming for him.